So what did it mean for him to be the numbers man, right? Because it feels like that in many ways he was the most important person in the community,
Oh
right?
yeah. You're like the mayor of the block, right?
Uh-huh.
Because it meant that you had resources. And so
Mm,
he was the number man, and that meant that he provided resources for the community. It also meant he was, like I tell people all the time, my first introduction to community organizing and activism came from my father. And although my
mm,
stepfather, and although number running is an illegal gambling institution or what have you, he put those resources back into the community. He also, he was the one
mm.
who bankrolled the block party in the summertime. He was the one who rented the bus to take the kids on bus rides in the summertime to make sure we got out of the neighborhood. He was the one who, he had the wrench, so he would open the pump in the summertime to make sure we had a little fun. So that's what I learned. When something happened in the neighborhood, people called Mr. West. People called him and his friends. And so he was a problem solver. He was um, a mediator. He was
Mm.
just a person who cared very deeply about the people around him. He would clean up. The one video I have, a friend of mine who was into video making and stuff had a video camera when we were young. He was a couple of years
Mm.
older than me. And years ago, he sent me this clip. You can't hear my father speaking on it, but it's a short video of him cleaning up. He would just go outside early on Sundays, and he would take a broom and he would be sweeping up and moving the garbage around, just like he took care of the neighborhood. That's what I knew of him and others like him in the neighborhood. Who's just like, we cared about our community.
It's so interesting because you really, for me, when I listen to you, it reminds me that we have traditionally, historically taken care of our neighborhoods and our communities because of the distrust with social services,
Right.
our relationships with authority figures, with the
Yeah.
police. So it's not like these neighborhoods were without control or without support or without infrastructure. It's just that we created a lot of that for
We had to
ourselves.
create it. Even if it was coming, it took so long, or
Mm,
if it was
mhm.
inadequate when it did come. And so we created those systems and infrastructures for ourselves. And so that's what I grew up knowing, that we took what we had to make what we needed.
It's funny because in my adulthood, I see that. I think when I was younger, I would see the milk crates as
Yeah.
basketball hoops, or think of
Exactly.
a record player being turned into an instrument, or
Right.
spray can all over the wall, and think like those are signs of lack. That's a
Exactly.
lack of a museum, a lack of a basketball hoop, a lack of a trumpet. But we manifested our own genius. Like we
Yeah.
took those little resources and created a whole world of abundance and community
Exactly.
and art and festivity. And I'm so grateful to be from somewhere that is so rich and so resourceful.